I want to open up by addressing obviously an issue that has came about over the last couple of days, and that occurred this weekend. And I know our university and our athletic department has issued a statement and on it yesterday, and a review is underway. We're investigating it. Our police department here on campus is investigating it. You know, obviously I'm limited in the details that I can go into, but I will tell you that our standard's best, and as I've shared from the beginning with our team and with y'all, that we have high expectations for our players, for our student athletes, and both on and off the field. And but we're definitely involved in this as far as there's investigation going on, and with that I'm gonna close with that. But spring has finished. We finished up today, and I'm very pleased with the way spring unfolded. We've definitely improved from where we started. We've got a long way to go, as I've shared before, a long way to go. We've come a long way, but we got to have a great summer, a great third and fourth quarter. And our third quarter actually started on Monday, and as we finished our last two practices, and our fourth quarter will start after July 4th, leading us up all the way to fall camp. And we have to have a tremendous summer. And so today was spent mainly addressing how we want our player-led workouts to be ran, the organization that needs to be, and how it's ran. And so that was the emphasis of today. It was really a very productive day. You saw a lot of players coaching and leading and organizing things while we sat back and helped correct any minor problems that may have came about each period. So, but again, very pleased with spring. We're felt like we've developed some depth at some key positions. We still, again, got to continue to work through the summer. We've got to have some of these freshmen that are going to be coming in the next few months to come in and help us out. So from now, the players will transition straight into back into their, and they've been lifting weights and running, but now they'll move really back into it starting tomorrow. We're for the most part, the spring is done. Coaches will get out on the road. We'll begin exit interviews with our players, and that's pretty common. What you'll find is each position coach will meet individually with his own player, and from there they'll meet with a coordinator, and from there they'll all have an opportunity to meet with me toward the end of the month. And but I'm excited to see how these exit meetings go, and from there we'll see how we set the depth chart from that point. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach, what have you seen as some of the strengths and weaknesses of the especially Story and Cole Kelly so far as quarterbacks, and I guess what are you looking at for them to improve on over the summer, and are you open to bringing in a transfer over the summer along with the freshmen that are coming in?
Well, I think both of them bring different strengths. You know, as I've said, I thought Cole's last 6.5, 7 practices really were his better of all of them. I thought Ty started off strong and finished consistently. You know, each one of them, just the knowledge of the game has, you know, what we've got to really do is help the game slow down for them. They're processing a lot offensively, and when you do that, the game speeds up, and you try to be rushed in making decisions. So with that comes through film study. That comes through getting out there and doing what we did today. You know, they need to throw 1,000 bang 8 drills today, you know, over the summer. I mean, they constantly got to be throwing the deep ball, hitting their spot throws, worrying about their feet and their base. So those are some things they really got to work on. But you know, one thing I am pleased with is we got a good competition going. They're all pushing each other at that position. Am I open to, you know, the job is, there's nobody set to who's starting, and we're wide open. If it's a true freshman, it's a true freshman. Whichever one gives us the best chance to win. They all understand that. They're competitors. And with that, I fully anticipate not just our quarterbacks, but our entire football team having a great summer. If it's any indication of what we did today, and how that the players led the drills today, I'm very, very pleased. And that's what we've got to have over the next 2 months, 2.5, 3 months, getting ready for fall camp. But are we going to be open for transfers coming in? You know, we'll wait and see on that. But right now we've got a good battle going there.
Right here, Tom.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Based on the incident from the other day, did anybody miss practice? Is anybody suspended or in any kind of?
Yeah, we had a couple. We had a couple young men not at practice today.
Can you say who those guys?
No, I'd rather not. Like I said, I'm gonna be limited in what I can say there.
Sorry, we only got one mic, so get that back to Gene.
Uh-huh.
That one died.
Overall, for this spring, what kind of grade would you give your first spring practice here?
Well, you know, from where we were to where we ended, I would say that, and let me back this up. From where we started to where we ended, I would definitely believe that we improved a lot, both sides of the football. If you want to give a grade, I mean, a B. Where we are to where we need to be, you know, we got a long way to go. We're about at a C level right now, and we need to be at an A level. But you know, that's if you ask me to put a grade, you know, I love it. I'm really excited that I'm not coming here and telling you we're at A+ on both of them, because that means there's only one place to go, and that's straight down. So we got a lot of improving to do, and these players understand that. They know the hard work that it's going to take to get this program where we need to be for report date in August, early August.
Nate?
Defensively, what pleased you and what displeased you about the spring?
I thought Randy Ramsey was a very good surprise, transitioning back into the 4-down front, and seeing his pass rushing ability coming off the edge. I think he's been a pleasant surprise. Dre Greenlaw has been another one. Scooter Harris. I think our linebacker core has been a surprise as well. I would have really liked to have seen what we could have done with Sosa moving inside earlier in spring, and see how he would have developed. But we'll get a chance to look at that during the fall camp. I thought, and I think Ryan Pulley had a really good spring as well. So. And I think there's definitely been some surprises, but there's a lot of energy out there on the field defensively. Yes, sir.
Bob?
I guess Connor Nolan told Major League Scouts, don't draft me, I'm going to Arkansas. I mean, I assume you thought he was going to do that anyway, but how good was that to have him come out and do that?
Well, I really didn't know. You know, I knew he's a phenomenal player, a phenomenal athlete, and I'm just excited to have him here, and we're excited for him, and excited for our entire program, and definitely continue to give us depth at that position and competition at that position that we got to have, you know, each and every year.
You just wrapped up the spring, Coach, but
I'm sorry?
You just wrapped up the spring, but I don't want to move you too far ahead, but it's the evaluation period coming up in a few days. What's the game plan starting out? What are the main areas now that you've had a spring under your belt that you want to address? Yeah,
you know what? We'll go through exit meetings and you know, kind of seeing where everybody fits. I'm sure there's going to be some attrition that usually happens with guys. You know, where do they fit within the system? So we'll go through that. We'll talk about that. We're rallying a plan, and have been. We've been recruiting, as you know, as everybody knows, from the day we walked in the front door here. And we'll recruit every day for team speed. I think that's probably one of the deficiencies that we've really got to address is overall team speed. So coaches will get out on the road. Obviously, offense and defensive line, creating depth there is huge. So we'll have several, now that the rule has changed, we'll have several official visit weekends coming up. And so we'll be bringing guys in. Guys are making their decisions earlier and earlier. And so we anticipate, you know, some things happening over the next few weeks of that. But O-line and D-line for sure. Yes, sir.
On your guys this spring, but just have you looked at all ahead at the SEC West, and how far have you looked in film and whatnot, and is there a secret? Is it as good as what it's been, you know, you've heard? Is there a secret to finally being someone who can succeed against what Alabama's done?
Well, I think, you know, let me kind of start with the end in mind here with what you said. I definitely think this is the extremely tough league, best league in college football. It's been proven year in and year out. But with that being said, I can't control other teams. What I can control is the Arkansas Razorbacks. And so my daily focus, I know y'all think, man, that's coach speak. It's not. It's the way Chad Moore, this is the way we operate. It's the way our program is going to have to operate to get to be successful, is we got to worry about the Arkansas Razorbacks. And we you know, I've said it over and over, you know, we got to prevent the Arkansas Razorbacks from beating the Arkansas Razorbacks. When we can get that done, then we got a chance to go play other teams. And so our daily focus is just getting better and seeing what can we produce. And when September 1st rolls around, and nameless, faceless opponent every week for us is can we put the best product out on the field? And the way you do that is just trying to be the best we can be. We got to have a great summer now. Yes, ma'am.
Coach Moore, my name is Chloe. I'm a journalist at the university. I have a slightly different question.
All right.
But you're a new coach here, so I was kind of curious on what your general philosophy on academics is. If there's a conflict between football or academics, what do you encourage your players to do?
Well, we've had several players during the course of spring that had to spend some practice time over in the academic center to take care of business. As I sat down, if I was sitting down and recruiting your son, I would tell you the first thing that if he plays for me, he's going to graduate, and that's first and foremost. You know, the air in the football will be let out at some point in time. They can't play the game forever, and so they got to have a foundation to stand on, and that foundation is going to be their degree. And in the field that they choose to study in. And so absolutely, that's our number one priority, is prepare these, as part of our mission statement, prepare for success both on and off the field for the rest of their life.
Tom?
Wondering about the safety position. How do you feel about how Santos and Cameron did during this spring? And did Monteric Brown make a move? Who would be next in line at the safety spots, would you say?
Yeah, you know, back with Santos and Cam, I think they're two quality players that have had really good springs. Obviously, we knew Santos would. Knew the leadership, knew the style of ball that he's played and the experience he's had. Taking Cam Curl, moving him from corner, as I've mentioned many times, taking him from corner to safety, it seems like he's had a right fit. He's got the range. And so, you know, working that who's next. You know, Micah Smith has gotten quite a bit of reps in there at that position as well. And so they've had a good mixture of guys. We're trying to create that depth there. You know, we'll have some freshmen coming in. Miles Mason will come in and see if we can't create some more depth. But you know, right now we feel solid with Santos and with Cam there, and you know, we got to continue to have a good summer with some of these other guys behind them.
Clay?
Coach, who are your coaches today? You said you.
Who was I coaching today?
Yeah, no, the player who you said players being
Yeah.
trained. Who was coaching today?
Well, we designated the leaders at each position. It was basically a 12-period practice, and you know, each period was a little bit different. Started with special teams, and so whatever the emphasis of the day is in summer and special teams, the leaders of that group will take ownership of that position. We moved from there to individual drills. And each group, each individual position has a leader. So, for example, the linebackers, it might have been Dre Greenlaw leading his group while Chief was overseeing that. It could have been Ty Story in this one individual period leading the quarterbacks doing some footwork drills with Coach Craddock overseeing it. So that's the way we did it. Froholt was taking care of the offensive line. Then you rotate into some teamwork. And obviously you ask the quarterback in charge and the center to be the leaders of that group. And then your linebackers and safeties to obviously be the leaders of the pursuit drills that they were doing. So each group had a different leader depending upon what the emphasis of that period was, if that makes any sense at all. But we did do some team, some good on good, and you saw a lot of guys. I mean, we had players out there holding the down markers. You know, we had to truly simulate snapping a football. You know, who's going to do it? And we want it to be very organized. We want to be structured. When they step on that field, they got a purpose.
We'll go right here to Bob and then Trey, and then we've got time for one or two more after that.
What do you think of your second line linebackers? I guess guys like Morgan and Walker and Hudson. How those guys do in the red white game?
In our offensive line?
No, and the linebackers.
Oh, and the linebackers. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think Grant Morgan's got a chance to be a really good player. You know, he was. I thought he had some really good days in spring. Really showed up, you know, obviously Henry's done a really good job for us. That was a guy that really shined during the spring game. Was excited to see that with Hayden. Again, that's an area we got to create depth. We got to have some depth at, and you know, wish Bumper Pool would have had a chance to go through the entire spring. Instead, he was hurt, or he was sick for about the first weekend or the second week and a half or 2 weeks of spring, and set out and only just recently came back. So, you know, again, got some freshmen coming in and hope to create some depth at that position. But guys moving around and you know, again, we've got to have a great summer with that group, as all of them.
Kind of a random question, but I made a promise that I would ask it. So when you guys hold the signs up to signal in plays and stuff, how do you come up with what's on the board? Is that just you powwow like, hey, you know, catfish hole look good here or something, you know?
Well, you know, there's a method to every madness, and so we will brainstorm on it. We'll have a little coaching meeting on it and kind of figure out what some of the themes are that fit with what we do, and so that's kind of it.
You've mentioned guys coming in to provide depth. Are there any chance you think the true freshmen coming in the next couple of months, anyone might be competing for a starting job?
Absolutely. I mean, every job's wide open, and so we've encouraged all these guys coming in to be prepared and be ready to go. And you know, obviously learning the speed of the game is going to be a big challenge for any freshman coming in here. But you know, I think you've seen Mike Woods has had a good spring. He'll be definitely a young man that'll play. We fully anticipate playing him. But you know, it's wide open. What you hope is you're senior-led. You're a player-led football team, not a coach-led football team, and that's how you know that you're going to be you're going to really progress and have a great season, is when you got the players leading the team, and with that you got to have a strong senior class. So you know, and I meet with our seniors regularly, and we talk about, you know, so go our seniors, so go a football team. And so we really want these seniors to take ownership with that. It allows us to put some of the younger guys and develop them and slowly bring them along. So, but all positions are wide open coming in here.
Chad, what are your thoughts on, you mentioned hosting official visitors now starting in April. You like it, not like it?
Well, you know, regardless if I like it or not, we're having it. And, you know, with the early signing period now, I think it's almost you have to have it. And so you'll see us for sure having 1 to 2 in April. We'll have 1 in May, and we'll have 1 in June. And you have to. I mean, guys are making decisions earlier now before their senior season, and we got to have a chance to get them on campus. We're having a big official visit weekend this weekend. We'll have another one next weekend, and so, you know, it definitely is speeding the clock up, but that's the trend, and that's what's happening, and that's what you have to follow suit with. So, with that, I have no choice but to like it. So I'm very excited about it.
Last one, Clay.
You mentioned leadership and players coach in practice. Have you picked captains? We've seen guys lead in kind of the early stretching.
Yeah, we have. Well, I say we have. We did before the start of spring, you know, with the guys out there in stretch groups. We'll rally back in early May and select a leadership committee. And a portion of that leadership committee will now become a part of our captains, so to speak. I usually try not to select a true team captains, and it's a big deal for us. But you know, each week you'll see different people going out for the coin toss. But I want to know who our captains are by the way they lead during the course of a season. And so you'll see us select team captains toward the latter part of the season, usually at the end of October. And then we'll name permanent captains that will have a place in this building, that there'll be a shrine for our captains. it's a big deal to be a team captain. And that's something I want to go back in the archives of the history books of Arkansas football and find some of the captains and create something for them, a shrine for them that they're recognized, because that's a big deal. And so what I like to do is see how, you know, who takes ownership during the summer, who takes ownership during fall camp, during the course of the season when things are going good, when things maybe aren't going so good. How do people lead? And then the end of October, we like to have our own team select the captains, and then I'll announce them. And we usually choose 4 to 5 on that. But there will be, back to your original question, there will be a select group that'll be our player leadership committee.